Troy here. I'm doing a quick look at the two games that I got in the mail today. So these games came to my attention from various YouTube content providers. This first one I'm looking at is Leagues of Adventure. So it's a game that uses the Ubiquity system. And this came to my attention from Runeslinger, who's a champion of the system and has done quite a few videos about the Ubiquity system. So this game is called Leagues of Adventure. It's a hardcover book. It's all inclusive, which is one of the things that got me to purchase it. Runeslinger says it's the only thing that you need to be able to run the game. There's a bunch of expansions out for it now, looking at gothic horror and some other things, but I just went with the one core book. It's a sturdy book. It's hardcover, as I said. It's mostly black and white within, with one exception. The section that does the archetypes for the characters is done with color panels, but for the most part it is a black and white book. Large font, easy to read, lots of illustrations, but as I was saying, it's black and white. So this book there's the color panels for the characters. So that's the only color I've found in the book, and this is actually my first time flipping through it. I only know it from Runeslinger's videos. So basically it's like steampunk in Victorian England, where you're playing like leagues of extraordinary gentlemen type characters, where you're going on adventures all over the planet. So it's kind of pulpy in its feel and theme, but set in Victorian England. So pretty cool, something different. Ubiquity I do not have. A game with this type of theme and setting, also something that I don't have. So I'm pretty excited to delve into this and to play it with the group at some point. So it's from Triple H Games. Again, it uses a Ubiquity system, which is basically for any type of skill roll or combat. You roll a bunch of even-sided dice, obviously, with evens being successes and odds being failures. And you build a dice pool depending on your stats and skills. So there you go. That is Leagues of Adventure. Pretty cool little book. The other one I'm really excited about as well. It's this lovely beast here. It's called Dungeons Crawl Classics. I actually have the wizard cover. Now this book is hard to come by now. It's done by Goodman Games. The hardcover is near impossible for me to get in Canada, so I went with the softcover edition of the book, which is using the wizard cover. So this is a alternative cover to the main core rule book. This is called the wizard cover, and it was only done in a small print run in the hard copy form. So I went with it. I paid a couple extra bucks to get the wizard one, but it's in the soft cover. So as you can see, this is a very heavy book as is in its soft cover form, but apparently in its hardcover form it's extremely heavy. So this game came to my attention by way of Questing Beast on YouTube. He did a flip through and brief review of the book, and the thing that caught my attention right away is the art. It is done by several of the original artists for the old school first and second edition Dungeons and Dragons, and it's got that great same ink work, black and white art that you would have found in those older editions of the game. So this is it's not really a retro clone because it doesn't go back to that far. It was created after the open license was released in 3rd edition Dungeons and Dragons. So it actually uses some of the rules from that edition of Dungeons and Dragons, but makes it feel like it's old school in the sense that it's like from 1st edition. Now the book is filled with art, various degrees of detail, I should say. Some are just little sketches and some are very detailed. But the one thing that's found throughout this beautiful book is a lot of style. It doesn't seem to take itself too serious, and the game is fast and furious where you roll on a lot of charts. I also know some people, like Drunken and Dragons, has recommended this book to be used even if you're playing standard Dungeons and Dragons, to rip out the way magic is done in this system and put it in more traditional Dungeons and Dragons. Everything is randomized. There's charts for every time you cast a spell depending on your degree of success with casting the spell. But this is something I'm very, very excited to get into, being that I've just started OSR playing old school games. So I wish I would have gotten the hardcover of this book, but unfortunately I was only able to get the soft cover. But even so, I was happy to be able to get the soft cover of the Wizard edition of the cover. So, and again, Kyle Hood was the first person to show me this book during a Google Hangouts on the OSG. He brought out his big beastie book and showed it to me. This was some months back, and ever since I've been wanting to get into it. The only setback for me, this is a great image here. This shows the corruption mechanism in the game. So you have your wizard starting off all clean and pristine, and then throughout his adventuring career, he gets more and more corrupted. So he goes from this beautiful, charming, gallant gentleman to this monstrosity here in the bottom right corner. Beautiful stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to play this. The fallback, like I said, is that it uses special dice. You need to have like D3s and D30s and D16s, which I've yet to be able to get, but there is a free dice app which I've been using in preparation to learn the system a little bit. So those are the new products I have today, and 2 games I hope to be running in the OSG relatively soon.
What we do here is go back.
Loud.